Hey there, welcome back to my channel. I'm Cindy Kane and I'm a Shenandoah Valley wedding and portrait photographer, and today I'm giving you my best tips for hitting the 300 word count on your portfolio blog posts. In order for our blog posts to be found through search engines like Google, it's recommended that we have at least 300 words on every blog post. We want to talk about our clients and how awesome the adventures with them are, and what we want to talk about their stories, but what exactly do we write about? And when we do write about it, how do we hit 300 words? Today, I am giving you my best tips and tricks for hitting that 300 word count so you not only tell your client's story in a really awesome way, but you let other people picture what it's like to work with you. I'm going to walk through how to hit the 300 word count on wedding posts, senior posts, and couples and engagement sessions. So I have a lot of things to go over today and I'm so excited. But before we get into it, I want to let you know that client questionnaires are a big part of this process for me. They make everything so much easier and it takes a lot of the guessing work out of it. So if you don't already have good client questionnaires, I gave you mine for free down in the caption below. I'm giving you every single question that I put in my own client questionnaires and how I use them. So make sure that you're going to get that for free down below. You're gonna thank yourself later. It not only adds to your whole client experience, but it helps blogging so much easier. So let's go ahead and get into it. Also, side note, I know that the light isn't really good right now, but I'm currently at Cyrus Ridge Farm in the Shenandoah Valley and I am loving the view behind me. I am a sucker for symmetry and this place is beautiful, so I wanted it despite the light, so we're going for it anyway. Deal with it. And also make sure that you check out Cyrus Ridge Farm. They're all over the place. They're a new wedding venue and really awesome. Alright, let's get into it now. Okay, first we're going to talk about how to hit the 300 word mark on senior sessions. When you're writing a blog post about a senior session, focus the post on the session itself, how awesome it was, how fun it was to work with you, as well as the seniors' future plans. So here are a few topics to write about. Number 1, explain what happened throughout the session. Where did you go? What was the weather like? What season was it? Did anything eventful happen? Did the location mean something to the senior? Next, what was your favorite part of the session? Was there a really awesome moment where you got your best photos ever, or a really heartfelt moment? What happened? Next, what was the senior like during the session? Did they laugh the whole time? Were they super excited and come up with their own poses? Did they talk to you a lot? Did they give you fashion advice for their 8 outfits that they brought that were just 10 out of 10 on Fashion Week? What was it like working with them? Then use your senior questionnaire to fill in more information. What school did they graduate from? What's their graduation year? Where are they going to college? What's do they hope to major in? What's been their favorite subject at school? What do they like to do outside of school? If this is for college, what are they doing once they graduate? You really want to emphasize how fun the session was and create a lot of FOMO for other seniors. If at that point you're still not at 300 words, talk about certain instances throughout the blog post. So once you get to your favorite photos down below, talk about why this moment was special, what got you really excited about it, and everything else. So your 300 words don't all have to be at the top, you can sprinkle them throughout. Alright, next we're going to talk about engagement sessions, and a lot of them are kind of similar to the senior sessions. So you want to talk about your experience with them, explain what happened throughout the session, and use your questionnaire to fill in more information about the couple. Talk about their story and why this location is special to them. Here are a few specific things to talk about. Again, talk about what happened throughout the session. What was the weather like? What season was it? What specific locations did you go to? Were they specifically meaningful to your couples or to you? Then talk about your favorite part of the session. Then talk about your couple. What were they like during the session? Were they really intimate and adorable and they cuddled up the whole time? Or were they laughing out loud and throwing each other around and just having laughing fits all over the place? Were they super fun and outrageous? Or were they really classic and just beautiful couple? Were they naturals in front of the camera? Did they dance the whole time? What were they like? What was your experience in working with them? Then use the questionnaire to fill in more information. How did they meet? How was the proposal? What are their favorite things to do together? What's been their love story like? What are their favorite things to do together? What's their biggest adventure together? How's the wedding planning going? Also, are you their wedding photographer? You can talk about how excited you are for their wedding. Talk about how the session went, how you helped them prepare for it, and how excited you are for them. Make potential couples who are reading this feel like you're there for them the whole time throughout the whole planning process, and they can be there and that you can be there for them too. I hope it's true. If after all this, you still need to write more words, talk about specifically how you helped them plan, what the location scouting process was like, and everything else. Alright, now we're going to talk about writing wedding posts. These can be a little easier and a little harder at the same time because there's way more to talk about, but they are super important because you want to attract the right kinds of couples to you. So when you're writing about weddings, you want to focus on the day itself, you want to focus on the couples, and you want to focus on the other vendors. Here are a few specific things to write about. So again, talk about the whole day. What was the weather like? What season was it in? What events happened throughout the day? What special moments can you remember? If you can, try to talk about very specific things to your couples that you love and want to attract from others. Were there really heartfelt speeches or personalized vows, or was their dog there with them? What's happened throughout the day that you want to bring out of the wedding and draw radius notices to, and then you also want to attract to potential customers? Going off this, what was your favorite part of the day and why? Then you can talk about your couple. What were they like throughout the day? Were they really nervous before you saw each other and then just completely melted into each other's arms when they saw each other during the first look? Did they laugh all day, having fun with other friends, and then dance all night? What was your experience with them, and what was their experience of the day itself? You can even directly ask them, how was your wedding day? Let me know and I'll add it to the blog post. Then you can talk a lot about the venue and the other vendors themselves. So for the venue, how is it decorated? What is the venue like? Where is it? What does it look like? What buildings or landscapes or landmarks are there? What specific parts of the wedding venue do you love and you want other couples to find? Was it decorated in a certain way, or were there special details that you want to highlight? You can talk about the wedding colors, the wedding florals, everything else. Talk about the vendors themselves. What were the flowers like? What was the cake like? What was the catering like? Talk about all the other vendors and how they added to this whole vision of a day. Then you can talk about actually working with the other vendors. They read these blog posts too, and you want potential couples to see that you work really well with other wedding vendors. So what were some special details from other wedding vendors? You can talk about them in the post itself, but at the end of my writing, I include a list of every single wedding vendor. I include what they provided, their business name, and I give links to their websites so that couples who are seeing these blog posts can click on those links, and so that these wedding vendors will link back to my blog post. So it's a big link clicking circle, and you really want this because one, you want to give credit to these vendors, and two, it really helps with your SEO. And then lastly, use that client questionnaire to fill in more information. How was wedding planning? What were they most excited for their big day? And did it actually end up being the best part of their day? What surprises were they doing on their wedding day? Where is their honeymoon? What details were they most looking forward to? So for this wedding post, talk about the events of the day, how they went, your experience with the couple, the venue, the other vendors, and just how the day went as a whole. You want potential clients to read this and know that you notice the small details and you really care about them. If you're still not at 300 words, I don't see how at this point, but you still need more words, ask the couple to talk about their wedding day so you can include it on your blog. Tell them to say in 50 to 100 words how would they describe their own wedding day, and you can put that in your blog post saying this is from the couple. This is a great way to lead into testimonials too. Okay, I have 3 last tips for you to hit that 300 word count on your blog post. Number 1, you can talk it through into your voice recording so you don't have to actually write it all out. This is especially useful if you're driving home from the wedding or driving home from the session, you just got home. Talk into your phone. Talk about the emotions of the day, specific details you think you won't remember later on. This is really useful so you can really capture your immediate reaction instead of trying to remember it weeks later. This leads into tip number 2. Try to do this writing or this recording within 24 hours of the wedding or the session itself. Ideally do it within a week, but try to do it as soon as possible. You really don't want to be writing about it weeks later when you forget small details or you forget your exact emotions of the day. Plus, you're not going to really want to write it weeks later, so when you're still excited about the wedding itself, do that writing and that recording or whatever you're doing within a week, 24 hours, whenever you can, so it's most excited. This way, you're not faced with a bunch of blog posts that you need to write and you're getting them done one at a time. Lastly, if you still feel like this writing isn't for you, you can outsource it. Talk into your phone about a recording, give them bullet points, send it off to a writer, and they will bring you back a 300-word mini essay about the day. It might not have your voice, but you can always tweak it later. If this really isn't a priority for you, I highly suggest looking at a college English major or a writing major or someone else that you trust writing these small blog posts, and you can always edit it later. Alright, those are all the tips I have for you today. I hope they helped. Writing these blog posts is super easy when you have this formula, and especially when you have those client questionnaires. Again, if you don't have them, make sure you grab them down in the link in the caption. They are free to you and they help my client experience tenfold, and they make writing blog posts so much easier. So thank you so much. Make sure you're checking out the blog post that goes along with this so you have a full list of every question I talked about today, and make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel. I talk a lot about blogging tips and a lot of other tips for photographers, so make sure you are hitting that subscribe button. It really means the world to me. Thank you so much for watching another video, and I'll see you next time.
There.